When I was done, I was like, I have totally ruined this. I think I need to just go chuck this in the trash. On today's episode, we are going to be doing some fun Christmas DIYs, so let's get started. For our first DIY, we are going to be doing a letters to Santa mailbox. For this, we need to go outside. I love making Christmas DIYs. We are going to get a little bit powerful. And what that means is we are going to be using some power tools, but don't be intimidated because this is something that you can totally do. I found this at Walmart recently. The color's not going to work for my decor, but it is really cute. And I thought that we could elevate this into something a little bit more than this. If you watch my channel for a while, you know that I love these outdoor decking spindles that they sell at Lowe's. They come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and then large. We're going to be using the medium for a couple of DIYs today, and then we're going to be using a couple of their small ones. So what I was thinking is that we could mount this on top, but this top portion's kind of big and tall, so we're going to cut that down a little bit. We're going to use a miter saw. You can use whatever kind of saw that you have access to. Even if it's a hand saw, you will get a better workout if you do it by hand, that's for sure. I'm not going to do any measurements today. I probably should, but I'm just going to be kind of eyeballing it how it looks good to me. So we're going to probably cut off 2/3 of this top portion. Rather than going into all the details, let's get right into it and start by cutting the spindle down, and I'll walk you through step by step. I know you can do this, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use a miter saw, and the first thing we're going to do is put on some safety glasses to protect our eyes. If you want to use earplugs and a face mask, I would definitely recommend that. Gloves. Protect yourself to the level that you feel comfortable with, but you want to be able to still move. So no Christmas story outfits. So in order to turn on your miter saw, you're going to plug it in, of course, and then you pull back the yellow button with your thumb and grab the yellow handle with your palm at the same time. And it might be a different color on your machine, but thumb button, hand button at the same time. And that turns it on. And then you just pull it down for a straight cut, and then if you want to do like an angled cut, then you just angle it right here. We're just doing straight cuts today, so this is super easy. So let's cut this down. So that wasn't too hard. We still have all of our fingers, so we're good. That is the only cut, other than if you don't have a scrap piece of wood, then you might want to cut down one more cut for this. The rest is going to be using a drill, so this is going to be easy peasy. If you haven't worked with power tools before, this is a great first project. Now we're going to assemble it under the canopy. It's a little cooler in here. I've got the circulation of the fans, and I know I'm going to get questions about this from my longtime viewers. Yes, I am assembling in here. Everything's still intact. I've got furniture covers over my furniture just while we're working, but I'm doing all of my cutting outside, and this is just assemblies. So my beautiful patio is still good. Plants are still alive. They're hanging on by a thread. All right, so now we're going to assemble. I bought this little base right here at Michael's for, I believe, $4.98 with a coupon 20% off. What is that? I don't want to have to do math. $4? Okay, and then of course our spindle, and then our scrap piece of wood. So we got that. Then we'll put our mailbox on top here. You can kind of see, so we'll just set that aside for now. Like I said, I'm not really doing any measuring, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take this other piece of scrap lumber, and we're going to just draw an X on all of the centers because we need everything to be centered. So if you go from corner to corner on your wood pieces and make an X corner to corner, that will find center on anything that's square. So we are going to do it on every piece that we're working with, on the top and the bottom. Now we're going to take a drill, and you've got a drill bit on it. So we've got a pilot hole right there. We're going to do this on all of our pieces. Put something underneath it so it wouldn't drill into the table. Not that it matters, this table is trashed. So using a drill is also not scary. So we can do this, right? We want to put a little wood glue on the bottom of our spindle This will just give it added security once it's dry. We don't want to go too crazy. We're gonna take our base. We're gonna screw this down. Just slowly. We're just trying to get it to poke through. So you can kind of see how that screw is just poking out a little bit. That will help us line it up. So then we've got our wood glue covered spindle, and we are going to line that up. You can see it's lined up, and then we're gonna just screw it into place, and then we're gonna make sure that it's squared up. That's what the bottom will look like right there. Awesome, right? Look how sturdy that is already. This is kind of a flimsy metal. I just feel like it will be more stable if we put something underneath it and set it on like so. We need to drill a hole in the bottom of this, so we're gonna do the same thing we did on top, is find center, drill a hole. Okay, it eventually did it. We are going to take some wood glue, and we are going to try to assemble that. We might have to do it in stages here. Yeah, let's go outside. We'll do this one step at a time. So then we are going to set this on top. Actually, just kind of poke this through. All right, this is tricky. This is a little trickier than I thought. We're just gonna go with flow. This is kind of a tight fit in here, so we're gonna do this by hand. Get that lined up, make sure it's in the pre-drilled hole, and then we are going to do this by hand, the good old-fashioned way, with a little elbow grease. And I think we just need to get it down. This is why it's good to pre-drill. All right, since we kind of let it sit for a minute, I'm gonna add a little bit more wood glue because that's probably dried. We're gonna still do it by hand for a second, but I'm just gonna get this through the hole, get it all squared up correctly, and we'll get it down a little bit, and then hopefully we can finish it off with the impact driver or drill, depending on what you're working with. Okay, let's see. Make sure it's all nice and lined up. That's what we do. So as I was painstakingly twisting that Phillips head screwdriver over and over and over again, I just kept thinking to myself, this is why we have screwdrivers, this is why we have drills and impact drivers and all of these tools, so I don't have to do this very thing that I'm doing right now. And then my next thought was, I really need to get an attachment for my drill so I can, just for this particular situation where I can get into those tight nooks and crannies. Anyways, we ended up getting the job done, and we did get a little bit of an arm workout, so I mean, there's that. And then once we had that assembled, I just took out my spray paint and spray painted it in 2 coats of all black spray paint. Now this is something that you could totally customize for your decor. This is just the look that I was going for, but you could have left it the original color. It was not bad, and just painted the lower portion. You could totally two-tone this out and do whatever color combination that works for you, but this really works with a lot of the other pieces that I have done in the past, and is really gonna tie in nicely to our Christmas decor that I haven't pulled fully out. So after the spray paint was dry, I did want to bring out some of that embossed lettering that was on that metal mailbox, and so I got out my gold rub and buff and I put a little bit on my finger, and then I started kind of hitting the high points, and this did not go according to plan. Even though I didn't think that I had a lot on my fingertip, I really had a ton, and it just goes to show you a little goes a long way in this one. But so I just kept going with it. I kept moving forward and progressing, and then when I was done, I was like, I have totally ruined this. I think I need to just go check this in the trash. No, I'm just kidding. I knew that we could fix it. I was not happy with how it looked, and so what I ended up doing is kind of re-spray painting over the top of that again. and letting that dry. And then what I did is I got that same gold rub and buff. I got kind of a stubby paintbrush, put a little rub and buff on it, just the tiniest amount, and then like pretty much wiped off all of it. That's what I felt like. I like put some on and wiped it all off, and then I very lightly kind of hit over the top of those lettering, and that was exactly what it needed because it looked so much better. And the finished version, I just love. Now we can embellish this with, you know, a little bit of Christmas greenery if we want, leave it as is, whatever. And I cannot wait to get all of my Christmas decor out, put it next to the Christmas tree so that my kids can do their little handwritten notes to Santa. If you don't believe in Santa in my house, then he doesn't come and visit you. Anyways, I'm just really happy with how this turned out. It was very affordable. The whole thing was probably under 20 bucks, which is pretty good for such a substantial piece of decor. I really love how we upgraded this Walmart piece, and now it has become so much more of a statement piece. So for my next DIY, I'm using inspiration from an old DIY. These sit on my fireplace mantle. I love these so much. These were some DIYs that we patterned after some magnolia candlesticks. I have these Christmas trees. I've had them forever. I've used them a bunch. And some of them were getting kind of loose and they were falling out of their styrofoam. You can see here. What if we combined this with this? How cute would that be on my fireplace? I love it. We're gonna use these as an inspiration. We are going to cut down 2 spindles just like we did with these ones. I only can get these wood rounds at Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby is like 45 minutes away, but we have one under construction 10 minutes away that will be built soon, and I'm so excited. But Michael's had these square wood plaques, so we're gonna switch ours out for square just because of availability, and that just goes to show you can just work with what you've got. Let's start by going back to our miter saw and making a few simple cuts. Okay. So we've got these, and the reason I have these is because we're going to use them as kind of pattern. We're going to just kind of hold it up here. I'm going to make a mark where I want to approximately cut. So that's for that one. And then for this one, I'm able to actually make 2 out of this. So what I do is we're going to cut off right about there. We're going to cut off right about there, right about there. Okay, so those are our cuts. Super scientific, I know. We're gonna cut.
Now this Christmas, we're gonna dance.
Okay, so here we go, and we're gonna just assemble them very similar to the mailbox that we did earlier.
All night long, we're gonna dance and have a good time. I think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends.
Boom. We're gonna just eyeball the center of this right there. And we're gonna start with a smaller one, and then we're gonna build up because we need it to be kind of big. Now we're gonna switch out and go larger. We're gonna go even bigger. I know that's crazy, but I think we need a pretty large hole. So we've got a pretty large hole in there now. Let's try that out. Stick it down. You can see it doesn't go all the way down, but it's nice and tight. So I think I'll just cut off the bottom of that. So we have our candlestick bases with the holes, super easy. Now, if you want to paint them like my original candlesticks, I've linked that in the description box below. I think that would look super cute. That is a really, really pretty look. However, I have very much committed to a black color scheme with my Christmas decor. So these are also going to be spray painted out in that same black. Then we'll just go in and cut down the ends of these just a little bit, push them down into place. I don't even think we'll need to glue them just because they are in there nice and tight. Then that gives us options if we want to switch things out. I think this is gonna look really cute on my mantle, especially when I've got it fully decorated with stockings and all of the greenery and garland that I'm gonna be adding. I cannot wait to see this in the finished format, but for now they're looking pretty cute. What do you think? And if you choose to do this DIY, I would love to see how you interpret this. Go ahead and hit me up over on the DIY Niners Facebook group with your photos. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Go outside.
All right, have I lost you yet? Hopefully not. Hopefully you're learning a ton and having a good time and feeling powerful. So for our next project, we're gonna be using the medium-sized spindle again. I got this cute bucket at Walmart with some of the other things that I got. It was like $7, and there's a lot of ways you could do this. I didn't want to make it permanently in here. I thought about, you know, putting a little bit of concrete in the base and setting this into the concrete, and then it's solid, permanent. It's not going anywhere. But I wanted the flexibility to kind of switch things up, so we are going to take these scrap pieces of wood and just kind of build a little stand out of them that will go all the way around so we can set it in here. So what we're doing here is taking these scrap wood pieces and wrapping them around the bottom of the spindle in a spiral fashion, adding a little wood glue and drilling it together with screws.
No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times.
So you could just leave it out like that and maybe make the legs a little bit longer and forget the bucket. But I think the bucket's really cute, so I made it so it can fit right down inside the bucket. But there you go. Next, I just took some antiquing glaze and covered the entire base in that.
Chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the
And then I had temporary insanity and decided to freehand a Christmas tree onto my piece of scrap wood. I mean, because how hard could it really be? So after I very beautifully drew on the Christmas tree to my piece of wood, let's just say I am not going to be a professional artist anytime soon. Yeah, anyways, we took our jigsaw and very carefully cut it out, kind of going in one direction and coming back in the other. Before we paint it, I went ahead and sanded everything down really well, kind of trying to round off some of those edges and make it a little bit softer. And then I took this green paint that I got on clearance. I think it's like some sort of chalkboard paint, and I did a really nice thick coat of that on our Christmas tree and let that dry. And then I came back in and kind of sanded it all down, and then it was time to attach it to our spindle base. And what I did is I pre-drilled some holes, 3 holes, through the top portion of our spindle so that we could put screws in those. And then I lined everything up how I wanted it, and then I just took the screws and screwed them into the Christmas tree. Then I just put some greenery garland that I got from Walmart as well in the bucket to kind of cover up some of the mechanics. It's actually pretty sturdy. Now I think this would look really cute outside of my door for Christmas time, but you could put it really anywhere. I am not in love with my Christmas tree, but overall I think it's a really cute piece. What do you think of the Christmas tree? Is it a sad little Charlie Brown tree, or do you like it? You'll have to let me know in the comment section below. So are you feeling all powerful now? Like you could go use some power tools and not be intimidated by them and make some really cute decor. That is my goal. I hope that you felt that. And if you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And if you haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button right there. It's super easy to do, and I would love it if you joined the DIY Niner family. And to all of my DIY Niners, I just want to remind you that you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.